We had such a great conversation around hypertension last week. Guess what? Noni's back to continue not only talking about hypertension, but other chronic diseases that impact our community. Are you ready? Let's go.
Situations and conversations with Trey Renee. Situations and conversations with Trey Renee. Real situations, real conversations. Empowering the community leads to elevation. Entertainment and education, no better time than now. Pure enlightenment for the crowd. This is Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee.
Hey, welcome to Situations and Conversations. I am your host, Trey Renee. Very happy that you are joining us today because last week we had an amazing conversation around hypertension with none other than physician assistant and equity clinician for the Oregon Health Authority, Noni. Hi, Noni, you're back.
Hi, Trey. Thank you for having me back.
Yes, you needed to come back because
Yes.
we were having such a deep conversation, but we kind of ran out of time.
Yes.
And I know we talked a lot about hypertension,
Yes.
and otherwise known as high blood pressure.
Yes.
You talked about all sorts of things around how we can check it and ways and the community, the outreach that Oregon Health Authority is doing to make sure that people are, getting checked,
Yes.
and the things that we can do, some lifestyle changes, but we really didn't get a chance to go in depth. And today you were like, Trey, we have got to talk about the 4 pillars of wellness. And so please do jump right on in and discuss this important topic.
That's a wonderful summary, Trey. I can see you are listening. Yes.
Very much so, because
Yes.
I am so nervous. High blood pressure runs in my family.
Yes.
And so I do get, I get scared, like, what is this and how do you check it and what do you have to do to prevent it? So
Yes.
having you here to discuss this, especially around communities of color, is
Yes.
super important. So thank you.
Yes, Trey. And I know you don't need to be scared. What we need is knowledge. Once we have the knowledge, then we can do a good job taking care of ourselves. Now, like you said, last time, we talked about what exactly high blood pressure is. We also talked about the healthy numbers. It's a range. We talked about, a range between 90 all the way to the 110s, because we want that blood pressure, the top number to be under 120 and the bottom number to be under 80, and therefore anywhere from 60 all the way to 79 is considered a healthy range. Mm-hmm. Now, we, like you said, touched on some of the things that can be in our control that we can do to help improve our blood pressure if it's not within that range, that healthy range. Right. And the good news is that those 4 pillars that we're going to discuss that you mentioned not only help with addressing our blood pressure when it's not in the healthy range, but also it's like a one size fits almost all.
Oh, good. Okay.
Also it helps with the health of the heart. It helps with our cholesterol. It helps with diabetes if we have diabetes. It also helps with damage when we have organ damage, because we've had diabetes or hypertension for a long time. We might have chronic kidney disease. We might have heart disease, and these 4 pillars that we're going to talk about will also help that. And actually even our brain too, it can help. We know that lifestyle measures can also prevent or lower the risk for developing dementia down the road.
Yeah, I heard about that. Okay, so before we get too deep in the dementia part, because I do want to ask you about that.
Yes.
Tell me about the first pillar.
So this we mentioned last time. Nutrition is a big one. And then nutrition, and I know sometimes when we talk about these lifestyle measures, and we just, as clinicians, sometimes we just throw that out there, coming from a place of privilege and expect that, yes, if I tell you to eat healthy, that's going to happen, without realizing that a lot of us, are really struggling. Sometimes we have to make a choice between food and utilities, paying utilities or paying rent. Sometimes we live in neighborhoods that don't have, we call them food deserts. There's no access to healthy food. And then, and sometimes it's also access to information because we are disconnected from the healthcare system, so we don't even know how to better take care of ourselves. And so nutrition, even when I say nutrition, I want us to also realize that, you know, that we have sometimes to work with lots of challenges that we have in our communities. I don't want it to look like I'm just flippantly telling people they have to eat healthy.
Yeah.
Yes,
It can be
yes,
expensive to eat healthy as well. So, you know, at least that's what it seems like. It's a lot cheaper and easier to swing through, you know, like a fast food place. If you got a bunch of kids, you're on a budget.
Yeah.
You know, a salad these days can easily cost you $20.
And that doesn't make sense at all.
No.
Why processed foods and healthy foods are much cheaper than healthy food. It doesn't make sense. So it's something, it's maybe as a community, as a country, we need to come together and figure this out and make it affordable to eat healthy.
Yeah,
Yes,
I agree.
yes, yeah.
And one of the things you mentioned last time that we didn't get to touch on very much, something as simple as lowering your salt intake. The sodium
Yes.
levels do also contribute to hypertension, right?
Oh yes, yeah. And
And we love some salt on our food.
I know. And usually also what I tell a lot of patients is that sometimes it's not even that salt shaker that you have. It's the salt that comes in processed foods.
Oh.
That's where the biggest problem is. Because when we prepare our own food, we tend not to oversalt.
You know, you're right. Unless
Yes.
I'm at my grandma's house.
Yes.
And then every now and then those collard greens are a little on the salty side. But
Yes.
other than that, I
Yes.
think you are absolutely right. It's the
Yes.
other foods that are being prepared on our behalf.
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be a ton of Lowry's, right?
Yeah,
We can
the
we can cut down,
corporations.
right? We can cut down on that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to run out of time, and
Yes.
so let's get to the second pillar.
The
So
other
we did
one
nutrition.
we did
now.
nutrition. The other one was exercising. And that can even just involve walking, taking time. I know it's hard, and sometimes when you're working a job or even two jobs, I mean, you don't have time to prioritize exercising. It's not as easy as as just telling you to go exercise. But if we can do our best to make sure to make time, even if we cannot go to the gym, just take 30 minutes, 5 days a week makes a big difference. And it would be 30 minutes if you can walk as fast, like you're late somewhere.
like
Yes.
most people are at times, or maybe I'm
Yes,
just speaking
yes.
for myself. I feel like I'm always running just a little bit behind.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so
you're
walking
huffing
30
and
minutes.
puffing. Yes, yeah.
That's all we need.
Yeah, huffing and puffing. If you can do more, the better. But I'm just saying at minimal.
Okay.
Yes, at minimal, and that still does make an impact, a good, healthy impact in our lives if we do that.
Okay, so
Yes.
you want to kind of get not the blood pressure, but I guess you kind of want to get your heart pumping a little more.
Exactly.
Okay.
Breaking a little sweat.
Oh, I
Yes.
hate sweat. The edge control will then be, okay, that's a whole nother conversation. But yes, we
Yes.
have to lose the vanity piece
Yes.
and get to exercise. And so we have
Yes.
nutrition, we have
Yeah.
exercise.
Yeah.
What's the third pillar?
And exercising, when you exercise, that actually pays off because you even look better afterwards, right?
You do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just a vanity
So
piece.
the other one we touched on a little bit is stress, which Dr. Bukasi covered a lot, how chronic stress does increase our blood pressure and also causes inflammation and affects our longevity and health. And so that one also, again, easier said than done because we live in a stressful society, especially as people of color historically. But that's another conversation that we need to have and find ways that we can help our community with stress, be it, Black wellness. I'm a big believer in us going on and developing Black wellness, where we have spaces for us where we can go and interact, do exercises, hang out together. We like being around each other, and talk to each other so we can help relieve some of the stress that we feel. And that's in addition to seeking care, medical care when we need it.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, we are now at the fourth pillar. What is it?
Yes, now that's the one we didn't get to touch on last time, and I want to spend a little more time on that one, and that is sleep. Sleeping, yeah. So
Feels like such a
important.
luxury sometimes.
It is, yeah. And there is this thing that we don't usually talk about in our community, but it's just as bad as hypertension, and that's sleep apnea.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about that because I do know a couple of people who do suffer from sleep apnea.
Yes.
What exactly is that?
Specifically, we will focus today on obstructive sleep apnea. There's two types of sleep apnea. There's central sleep apnea and obstructive sleep apnea. So sleep apnea itself, the definition is interruption of breathing while we are sleeping.
Okay.
So we go to sleep, and normal breaths that we are supposed to take about 12 breaths a minute. And so when we have sleep apnea, we are taking less breaths, so our breathing is interrupted.
Wait, do you actually stop breathing?
Yes, we do. We actually stop breathing, or sometimes we take a very shallow breath, but we do actually stop breathing when we have sleep apnea.
Oh, that's scary. Okay, that's the one form. What's the other form of sleep apnea?
The central sleep apnea. The central sleep apnea is not as common, but it is there. It's when the brain centers of the brain that tell us we are not aware of it, but they're telling us to breathe all the time. When that communication is not working very well with our breathing muscles, so the part of the brain that tells the breathing muscles to keep breathing, stops working, and then we stop breathing. That usually can happen when most of the time it's due to medications or drugs.
Oh, okay.
So like when people overdose on fentanyl.
Is that what happens? I
Yes.
often wonder, like,
Yeah.
what happens when you go to sleep and you just don't wake up?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
So that
that
be
is really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
So sleep is obviously very important. I mean, for overall wellness.
Yes.
But if you have sleep apnea, how do you correct that or treat that?
So first of all, you will notice that a lot of people notice their daytime fatigue, they're dozing off. Sometimes you're sitting in the traffic light and you're starting to doze off. Some people even wake up with headaches. And also we notice that it's obesity, we start adding weight and we just can't stay on top of it. Blood pressure is another thing that's impacted by sleep apnea, and especially if sometimes it's uncontrollable. Even your doctor probably is trying to, prescribe these medications and that medication, and they're still having a hard time with controlling your blood pressure. That's a big part of it. Could be because of sleep apnea. And the snoring at night can also be a symptom of sleep apnea. And so, and I think your question was how it can be addressed.
Yes.
Now, going back to that, once you have those symptoms, like, especially the daytime sleepiness and fatigue and uncontrolled blood pressure, and like we're saying, headaches, then it's important that you be seen by your clinician. And what they can do is order a sleep study. There's many kinds. There's one that you can go to a sleep lab. Those tend to be more on the expensive end insurance-wise. But now they have developed the home ones that you can do at home, which are a lot of insurance will cover those ones, that measures your oxygen and even records how many times your breathing is interrupted.
Wow.
Yes, and once that the diagnosis has been made, so once the diagnosis has been done, there's treatment for that, and usually it's called a CPAP or a BiPAP.
Is that machine where people look like aliens? I hate to say it that way, but that's what I saw on a TV show, and they thought somebody was an alien sleeping like that. But it's that machine, that device.
Yes, yeah, and they continue improving them so that they're more tolerable. back in the day, it used to be the masks that now they're making them even smaller. Some of them only cover the mouth and have nose pillows that help with that. And what it does is that when the obstruction or the blockage happens at the back of the throat, it blows the air in so that it opens you up. Oh. And a lot of people, once people get over the discomfort and get used to them, they come back and say it makes a big difference in their life. You feel more energetic, you sleep better, you feel rested, blood pressure control improves, diabetes can also improve because of that. So that would be the treatment. Depending on the severity, it could be a CPAP or a BiPAP. So those are the mainstay treatment. However, if you have mild sleep, if the diagnosis comes and shows that you have mild sleep apnea, sometimes that can be resolved by weight loss.
Oh, okay. So other lifestyle changes and
other
not
lifestyle
necessarily
changes.
the mask situation.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and sleeping on your side as opposed to sleeping on your back.
Nice.
Because
then the tongue, because I can feel a little discomfort even just doing that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. And the reason for weight loss is because we don't realize when we add weight, some of that fat is in the tongue.
What?
I know.
So you can have a fat tongue too? Noni, cut it out. Noni, this is too much. Yes. I mean, this is all amazing information, and clearly you can definitely talk about this all day. Yes. I wish we had more time, but people can definitely reach out to the Oregon Health Authority and get more information and maybe even contact you directly, right? Yes, maybe? Have you come out and do some sort of training or some education? Because that's what you do in the community.
Yes, sometimes you're right. Yeah, sometimes communities invite me to go give talks on different health topics that they would like me to talk about. And certainly we can come and talk about sleep apnea.
There you go.
Yes,
and all of these other chronic diseases
and
that you are well versed in. Thank you so much
for
being here again.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you making more time to come back and talk about these important issues. And they are important issues and situations, and that's why we're having these conversations. Again, on the screen, more information, Oregon Health Authority. You can reach out and maybe even have Noni come give you a little visit and have a chat with you and your community members about hypertension and other chronic diseases and how we can prevent them and get over them in the long run. Thank you again. Thank you again. All right, we'll be right back with more situations and conversations in just a bit.
Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Oregon Health Authority, helping people in communities achieve optimum physical, mental, and social well-being.
Time for Artist Spotlight. This is the segment where we highlight local artists. Hey, welcome back to Situations and Conversations. It is now time for Artist Spotlight. This is where we highlight local creatives in all the art forms. And today, it's all about being a b-boy. Hey.
What's up, Trey? It's Kevin Lay, aka B-Boy Merc, representing New Birth Crew and the Hoods out of Portland, Oregon.
I'm Tommy Tran, B-Boy Tombo, repping New Birth Crew and the Hoods as well from Portland, Oregon.
All right, I'm so glad you guys are joining us today in the Spotlight. Tell us a little bit of the history behind b-boying.
Well, hip-hop dates back to the 70s and 80s. From the history that I've learned, it started in the Bronx of New York and surrounding boroughs. And breaking was something that, the Puerto Rican, Black, and other kids in those areas started using as a form of expression.
Man, I heard b-boying is so popular that it's now being included in the Olympics?
Breaking is going to be included in the 2024 Paris Olympics, and I think it's going to be a great way to get breaking to a platform that can get more eyes to see what our culture is and just to see the level of competition.
And definitely for the next generation too, because growing up we didn't really have the opportunity. So bringing Olympics, it's the next big thing for breakers. It's the opportunity for kids to have a chance to do something positive and something to express themselves.
So what's the future of the art form?
I think the art form's going to stay alive as long as hip-hop's going to be around, whether it be in the underground jams and competitions that happen from a grassroots level or the Olympics. I think it's going to keep growing.
Especially with the support with the community. The more we support the community in the breaking culture, then that's pretty much the future right there. The more we support each other and the more we give opportunities for everyone.
Well, I know that I want to see you guys in action. What do you guys have coming up?
We're actually doing an event soon for our crew anniversary, the New Birth Crew 14th year anniversary, and it's going to be happening on June 24th, 2023.
Yeah, and we're actually throwing a 3v3, one-on-one top to bottom, which is top rock footwork battle. And it's usually a huge event. We're having B-girls and B-boys from all over the country coming down just to get together and pretty much battle it out.
So you don't want to miss that one.
Man, that's what's up. I'm so excited to see you guys. And listen, if you guys want to see these guys in action, getting their B-boy on, well, the QR code is on the screen for more information. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Now it's time for Hey Trey. This is where you get to ask the question. Hey, welcome back to Situations and Conversations. You know what time it is. It's time for Hey Trey, and I have assembled my girl tribe, minus one. Abibat's not here, but I do have Donisha with us, as well as April.
Hey.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Let me tell you something. I already have my mug and sipping tea around this situation. I don't know if you all have heard, but there was a conversation around a situation that went viral. So here we go. A media colleague of mine commented that she would not date a bus driver only if he owned the bus. And it sparked outrage and acceptance on both sides. And I wanted to bring this to the Hey Trey tribe because this is a lively one right here. I know how I feel, but I want to start with Donisha is giving all the body language necessary around this. Some people feel like it's shallow to say that you would only date the bus driver if he owned the bus. What do you think?
Here's the thing. Okay, I understand. It's like, I can't imagine Michelle dating anybody other than Obama. So I understand. I understand. You are trying to attract a certain type of person based upon where you're at in your life, your success, whatever. But you're talking to somebody who is on top of her game right now. I'm out here #winning, as I like to say.
Yes, you are.
And baby,
throwing all sorts of fabulosity.
I love my
events.
bus driver. He drives the bus.
Wait, you actually have
I got me a bus
man
driver,
who
baby.
drives the bus.
And then benefits his busing, okay? So let me tell you. Listen, you know it. I love the benefits, and it's all comes in a little package wonderfully together.
Okay.
And we're good. So I think it just depends on where you're at, because he don't own the bus now.
Okay.
But he got many opportunities to start owning maybe some buses working
If
there.
he wanted to.
If he wanted to.
Okay.
Or maybe I just do the Tad Brown, just retire him from driving buses.
Yes, okay, so you have to talk about that. Tabitha Brown, who is definitely a very national figure right now. Known for a number of things, but also for retiring her husband from his 9-to-5 police job. He had a job. He didn't own anything or anything like that, and she was able to retire him after he supported her in her dreams to get her career where it is now.
So I'm no Tad Brown right now, but I definitely have support. I mean, I'm not, but I definitely have support from my partner. Thank you, Renee. I definitely have support from my partner with the business that I do, you know, between my work and then between my side business. Like, he is there, whether it's, you know, lifting, loading, propping up stuff on the wall, you know, ladders. He's there supporting that.
Yeah.
So if I take off, AKA Tad Brown, I would retire my man.
I know,
and
that's
my
right.
little bus driving man, okay? So
you think it's a little bit shallow. April, what do you think?
It's a little bit shallow, but again, it's each their own. But like I said, the bus is busing.
Yeah, well, hey, if the bus is
The
busting.
bus is busting.
A good steady paycheck.
Yes.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Benefits, all of it. Lots of perks, lots of perks.
I'm not, girl.
April, what do you say?
No, I have two thoughts about this because I vaguely heard about that. Like, I didn't, you know, I haven't had a chance to really look at it, but I know it was blowing up. Like, people were irritated. Certain people were like, how dare you, you know, you elitist snob, you think you're better than people. And then there's other people who were like, hey, if sis made it to a certain station, then doesn't she have a right to require that from the person? The way I personally look at it is, well, I'm going to look at your work ethic first. So I want to know you're going to work hard. That's my main concern. Are you going to work hard in your character? And then I will be honest, I would want somebody who wants something more as far as for their own life and livelihood. However, there's nothing wrong with being a bus driver. My dad was a mailman. And he was a good man.
Good
and I was a daddy girl. Good benefits. That's why he never left. My teeth straight. You just said teeth straight. Got me some braces too. Yep, teeth. And he was a good man. And he loved his job. So my second point is, if you love your job and you show up in a way that loves other people, I'm fine with whatever you do.
I can speak for myself. I am an equal opportunity little lovebird. I don't really care. How are you treating me? This is the most important piece of the puzzle for me.
Period.
Most important. Doesn't mean it's the only piece. There are several pieces that are going to make it a complete piece of art, right? But one of the main pieces for me is, how do you treat me and how do I feel when I'm with you and around you? I don't care if you are driving a bus, if you are in construction. I don't care if you own the construction company or if you own the bus. I don't care about any of that part. I need to know how you treat me. How do I feel when I'm with you, right? Now, if all those things are in place, okay, yes, there's other puzzle pieces. Everybody knows I am a hustler at heart. I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here. I'm emceeing galas, I'm doing TV shows, I'm on the radio, I'm a mom, I'm doing a lot of things.
You every woman.
I do appreciate somebody that has that hustler spirit.
That's right.
Okay? Because what's not going to work for me is you sitting around doing nothing. But that wasn't the conversation. The conversation was, this man drives a bus. He's clearly doing something. He's earning a living. Good enough for now, you know, like, and how you treat me. If we're good and we can go on vacation, I don't care if you get 2 weeks and I, you know, because I can make my own, because I have more of an entrepreneurial situation. I get 4 weeks. Okay, well then I'm going off with my girlfriends for, you know, 1 week. Be with you, boo, for another week. You know, be with the kids another week and back with you, boo, for your other 2 weeks. We can make it work. I think though, people need to back off of our sis Claudia, because her name is Claudia. This is the one who made the comment. A little bit, because everybody's entitled to whatever it is that you want in your relationship. That's why it's called your relationship. Yours is yours, mine is mine, yours is yours. You understand? What works for me may not work for somebody else. And if that sister says that this is what she requires in order for her to be happy, do you? Well, there you have it. I mean, clearly this is a conversation that can continue, and please do. As a matter of fact, go to the YouTube channel and put them all in the comments so we can figure out even more juicy stuff to talk about. But thank you guys so much. Always loving my ladies. You know, we always get it in. Love you guys too. Thank you so much for watching today. God willing, we'll be back together again for another episode of Situations and Conversations. Until then, please take excellent care of yourselves, because that's the only way you can take care of anyone else, which is our mission. When you think me, think we. When you think you, think too. See you next time.
Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Oregon Health Authority, helping people and communities achieve optimum physical, mental, and social well-being. And thanks to Tabiba Styles for hair and makeup glam, as well as Adorn Boutiques for my wardrobe. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee is shot on location at Loiza Event Space in Portland. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee is a Bum Juice Entertainment production in conjunction with Thomas Chung Films, Bloom Beauty Collective, and Allen and Unger Consulting Group. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus.